Hello, can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am, can hear you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. You're welcome to this mentorship program. I'm excited that we are here, and I'm excited that we are early, and good to see everyone. Although our videos are not on, but well, we can be looking at my face. So my name is Juliana Imam. My legal name is Juliana Owachimam Obo Joseph, but I'm popularly called Juliana Imam on social media. So people know me by that. You're welcome to JIIPCC Mentorship and Internship Program, third quarter. This is a program that is run per quarter. For the first quarter, we had I think 6 or 7 mentees. For the second quarter, we had 8 mentees. And for this quarter, we have 17 mentees. I think about 3 of them are students and the rest are practicing lawyers. I'm excited about this because it started with just one person that I was mentoring before the COVID-19, I think just before the COVID-19. And I saw that more people could benefit from it. So I'm excited about this, and I look forward to listening to every presentation. We also have mentors, people that have been coming here quarter in, quarter out, and they've been helping to listen to the reports and to give their own feedback. And for this quarter, we also have new mentors that will be joining to also listen to reports. So I'm excited about this. Quickly, I will just share my screen and just give a background to what we are about. So JIIPCC Mentorship and Internship Program is a quarterly intellectual property mentorship program for law students, young lawyers, and intellectual property enthusiasts across Africa. Mentees are afforded the opportunity to access valuable intellectual property advice, training, network, mentorship, internship, discussion forums, industry updates, and resource materials from experienced IP mentors. This program seeks to encourage continuous intellectual property training, development, and evolution in Nigeria, Africa, and around the world. The objective of this forum, the objectives are to provide easy access to IP, guidance, training, and resource materials for students, young lawyers, and IP enthusiasts in Africa to facilitate dialogue and network among experienced and less experienced intellectual property practitioners and stakeholders, to transform mentees into intellectual property mentors and leaders for the next generation of mentees and to facilitate further intellectual property mentorship, internship, scholarship, and IP-related job placements for mentees. So I hope that we understand what this forum is about. Thank you so much for joining. One of the mentors is already here, Mrs. Chinasa Uwana. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be going straight to the presentation. Mrs. Chinasa Uwana is with Banwo and Gadolo firm, and we're excited to have her. She was here for the second quarter, and she's a very intelligent and amazing woman, and we are delighted and honored to have her here. So we'll be going to our first presenter for today, and we'll be starting with Ayodele. So you just introduce yourself and you tell us if you're a student or if you're a legal practitioner, and you go straight to your presentation. You have 5 minutes at most. Hi, Ayodele. Okay, if Ayodele is not.
Hello? Hi.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you, Ayodele.
Okay. Like, for instance,
Okay, probably she's not ready. So we'll just go to Blessing. Blessing, if you are here, you can start your presentation. You have 5 minutes. If it's possible, we would enjoin you to share your screen, but if you can't share your screen, just go ahead and introduce yourself, mention your topic, and then start your presentation. Blessing, are you here? Okay, if Blessing is not quick to respond, we can move to AK.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Okay.
I just had to unmute. I was on mute. Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, ma'am. So I'm going to begin my presentation now.
What's your name? Please introduce yourself.
Yes. Okay. My name is Blessing Uchuma, and I'm a lawyer. I'm going to begin my presentation now.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, I think I maybe I didn't really understand the topic of the assignment so much, because from what you were saying yesterday, you asked us to write on any area of intellectual property we are interested in. I just wrote on any area. It didn't matter whether I was interested in it or not. So I'm going to make my presentation on that. Okay. So my presentation is on patent right. First of all, we know that there are many branches of intellectual property, including patent, trademarks, copyright, geographical indications, designs, and so on and so forth. But for the purpose of this presentation, I'll be talking about patent. Now, what are patents? Patent is a type of intellectual property that gives its owner the legal right to exclude others from making, using, selling an invention for a limited period of years without the permission or consent of the inventor during the lifespan of the patent. What this actually means is that where there's a new invention or there's a new process to actually doing something, patents will give the owner, the creator of that invention, the right to be able to a right that prevents other people from actually making use of those processes or inventions without his permission. Now, in many countries, the years within which this patent right lasts differs. For instance, in Nigeria, under our patent laws, it's for 20 years. Now, there are certain criteria that are necessary for the registration of a patent. Number one, the invention must be new or be an improvement on a patented invention. Number two, the process or product must be that which is not easily deduced by a person with average knowledge of the technical field. Number three, the invention must be useful, that is, it must have utility. Number four, the subject matter must be accepted as patentable under the national patent law. And I gave example in my presentation that in Nigeria, the Patent and Design Act of 1970 forbids inventions, the publication of which may encourage immoral or offensive behavior. I also went further to state some things that cannot be patented. For example, a discovery, scientific theory, or mathematical method, an aesthetic creation, so on and so forth. I have limited time, so I'll not be able to list all of them. I also went further to list examples of patented products, such as the light bulb, the telephone, the computer, Bluetooth, etc. I think that's all I have for today. Thank you, Ma.
Okay, thank you very much, Blessing. That's an intelligent presentation. Thank you for presenting beautifully also. So we'll move straight to Francis. Francis, if you are here, please unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and you have 5 minutes to present. You're welcome, Mr. Folarin.
Thank you, Juliana.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Folarin is also a mentor. He was a mentor for the first, second, and this third quarter. We're excited to have him. He's an amazing IP practitioner, and he would be giving us amazing advice. So we'll move straight to Francis. Francis, if you're here, please make your presentation.
Yeah, good. Good afternoon, Ma.
Good afternoon, Francis.
I don't know if I can present probably next. Like, probably can just keep me probably for a while. I'm having some technical issues over here, Ma. So I'll present
Okay.
after the next
Technical
person.
issues with sharing your screen.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, technical issues with sharing your screen.
No, at all. My data bot is just notifying me now that I'm having nothing less than 100 MB. So I have to just get data. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so let's just move to Omotoye. Is Omotoye here?
Yes, I am here. Good evening.
Okay. Good evening. Please increase your volume.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Motoyo Moshifumi.
Please increase your volume. Can you speak louder, please?
Oh, sorry, I guess it's the mouse. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Is this better?
Yes, it's better.
Okay, thank you. My name is Motoyo Moshifumi, and I'll be presenting on copyright. But more particularly, I'll be discussing copyright in relation to artificial intelligence generated content. I apologize, I do not have any screen to share with you today, but I will deal with that for the next presentation.
Okay.
So for artificial intelligence, I am very certain we are all aware of what artificial intelligence is. It's the next big thing in technology these days, where everybody gets to use technology, use computer, big data, without actually working much on it. So I'm trying to like just gives us this opportunity to create content to
I think you're having network issues. Okay, I think you're having network issues. Let's move to
use to make computation in that sense. Going through the usual tedious process, artificial intelligence, the author status. I mean, according to Section 1 of the Nigerian Copyright Act, it states that eligibility should be given to content that were created, musical content, all forms of art. We all have this list of items that can be copyrighted, and Are you all with me, please? So,
Yes, I can hear you now.
okay, thank you. So these copyrightable items, including these copyrightable items, when generated by artificial intelligence, do they still fall under the status of, do they still fall under the eligibility status for copyright? Now, the answer to this is still within the Section 1 and 2 of the Copyright Act, of the Nigerian Copyright Act, which states that when things are generated through computers or through the aid of any devices, it can also be copyrighted. So it stands to reason that artificial intelligence as it is today cannot generate content on its own. Rather, the content is it is an assistant to the inventor or the producer of any content. So the original owner of the copyright is the person that created the program using copyright or that used artificial intelligence to create content. And that means that copyright is given to the person that created the content, not to artificial intelligence. So thank you for the time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Omotoye, for the presentation on AI and copyright. Thank you. Very intelligent, and it's good to know your point of view. So we'll move to.
Hello, I don't know if I can present now, ma.
Who is this?
I'm Francis.
Okay, yes, you can present. You have
Okay.
5 minutes.
Can we share our screen, ma?
Yes,
Or
you can.
not necessary?
Yes, you can, if you're able to do so.
Okay, ma. I'm working on it, ma.
Okay, so would you start your presentation while you're working on it?
Yeah, so my presentation is on trademark. Are you listening, ma?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Oh, yes.
So it's on trademark basically, and then I started my presentation with I'm coming.
Well, I think you shared your screen for a second and then it went away.
Yeah, that's true. Hold on, please.
I think you should start talking while you're trying to share your screen.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, so I'm thinking that we might have to move to another person while you work on your screen. AK Neka, please, if you are here, you can start your presentation while Francis
Please, can
works.
I present now, ma?
Yes.
All right.
AK Neka.
Yeah, hello, ma.
Yes, Francis.
Yeah, so I think I was able to work on it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I started my presentation with the importance of intellectual property law in the society. It's basically like the protection of like how like your expression of ideas. That's just it. So and then in the development of the economy. And so basically I'll move to trademark. So trademark is any sign or any combination of signs that are used to distinguish the goods, services offered by one undertake from this offered by another. So just basically probably like protecting a sign, a distinguished sign. Probably you have a company and then your company has a mark, it has a sign, and then you want to prevent it from want to prevent its usage by third party, you can just go ahead by trademarking it, and then that's just basically what trademark means. It is a form of intellectual property that consists of a recognizable sign designed on expression which identifies product or service or personal service from others. So that used to designate kind, quality, quantity, destination, value, geography. So it's just basically the protection of a sign that is unique to a particular society. It's just basically like protecting what seems unique to you, what seems particular to you, and then so we have various kinds of trademarks. We have the word marks, we have the sound marks, we have the figurative elements, we have the smell and texture marks, hologram mark, and colors. So these are the various kind of signs. These are the various kind of marks, or these are the various kind of things that can be trademarked. So conclusively, for a sign to be protected as trademark, the sign must be distinctive, not deceptive, and comply with the other protection requirements established by the law of the country where protection is sought. So for you to protect your sign, for you to be able to protect something, for you to protect things that seems particular to you, there are some criteria that must be met before such signs can be trademarked. So things like it must be distinctive, like probably it must not be like probably in use and then you came up with it and were like, want to trademark it, not possible. So the thing must be distinctive, it must be particular to you only, it must be something that like probably you invented it and then you want to trademark it, and then it must not be deceptive, and it must comply. I think these are the other criteria for a sign to be trademarked. So there are other criteria, so it must meet the criteria before the particular sign can be trademarked. So basically, just for like probably the protection of things, probably protection of signs invented by you. Yeah, that's just my presentation.
Thank you very much, Francis. Thank you for the speed and thank you for a beautiful presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you also for sharing your screen. We really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move straight to Nneka.
Hello, good evening, Ma. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Nneka, and I wrote about trademarks.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. A trademark is a mark that a producer uses in the course of his business to distinguish his product from those of others. It could also be referred to as a brand. Trademarks it helps to build the reputation of a particular product because customers use it to familiarize themselves with a particular choice product. Now, the regulatory body for trademarks is the Trade, Patent and Design Registry under the Ministry of Trade and Investment. I also wrote about the procedures for registration of patents. And first, you have to conduct a search. Second, the registrar has to do an approval if the trademark meets the requirements of registration. Thirdly, an acceptance. The fourth one is publication in a trademark journal. And then the last one is issuance of the trademark certificate. So this is basically what I did. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you very much, Nneka. Have you gone through this process before? Have you registered any trademark?
No, Ma, I've not.
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you for the practicality of your presentation, bringing it from the theory to the practicality of the registration itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma.
Okay, so we'll move to the next person. Let's hear from, has Divine presented? Okay, let's hear from Divine.
Please, Ma, can I present now? Ayodele.
Okay, yes, you can go ahead, Ayodele.
Okay, good evening, Ma. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ayodele. I also wrote on trademarks, but sorry, I won't be able to share my screen. Please, if you don't mind. So, but mine is basically on infringements of trademarks in Nigeria. So I don't know if I still need to go ahead to define trademarks, but let me just do that. So I wrote that trademark, trademark is a form of IP that helps to identify and distinguish the products or services of one business from another business, such as names, symbol, logo, slogan, and all that. So I wrote that a mark can be confusingly similar when the two producers produce the same logo, where they have the same logo that might confuse the public, whereby causing misidentification. Then I wrote that such confusion may be found in products or businesses, and they are clearly not in the actual or potential product markets or geographic area of the other. Like for instance, we have a lot of logos in Nigeria. We have a lot of brands that are confusingly similar. So that so we have
Sorry, Ayodele. Can anyone hear her? Let me just know if I'm the only one.
No, we can't hear her.
We can't hear more.
Okay.
and all that. We have almost exclusive use of the brand. So they cannot even go to court to claim that their rights have been infringed or all that. So I wrote basically that if your brand is not registered,
Okay, since she's having network issues, maybe we'll move to Divine.
and in the end, they are deceiving them. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But basically, that's just my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. If I understand what you are saying, you spoke about infringements and similarity of logos and names, and I think that's a summary. Thank you very much, Ayodele, for pushing through. Thank you. Let's move to Divine.
Okay, good evening, Ma. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Okay, so okay, I'm driving, so I really cannot, but I will just do my presentation as I drive.
Okay,
so I talked about the trade dress, and then I was able to identify what trade dresses are like. Trade dress is the characteristic of a visual appearance of a product or its packaging. Like when you hold a product, how does it look? What do you see? You hold a bottle of Pepsi, a bottle of Coke, what does it look like? It's like the visual appearance, what the consumers see when they hold the product. That's what it has to do with the packaging. So that's what the trade dress actually is. So the question is, can the trade dress be protected? And then I made us understand that the protection of trademark protects brand names, title, and phrases. And in some cases, trademark protection can go further than registering just symbols or phrases as the case may be. So the other aspect, a product include color, the shape, the packaging. So if you hold the package, the bottle of Coke now, for instance, because of its unique shape, can also receive some level of protection. So these features are trade dresses, like I earlier listed, and they form part of intellectual property as the case may be. So like I said, the example of spoon of bottle. This is that can share an identifying feature of the brand. So anyone that holds a spoon of bottle would know that this is a 7-up bottle. So if you say a 7-up bottle, you know that, oh, this is very efficient. However, if this feature is to your functional advantage over other products, they will not receive trademark protection. I don't know if you think that. I said,
sorry, you can continue, please.
Okay, yeah. So if consumers tend to associate a certain feature with a brand, not the type of product, trade dresses may apply. So, however, if these features offer competitive or functional advantage over other products, they will not receive trademark protection. Only inherent distinct shapes, designs, and other aspects of the product that were created strictly to promote the product or service are protectable trade dress. So it means that it must be distinct from every other thing. If it's just a minor difference, it won't really count. It won't really receive that kind of protection, but it must stand out differently from what is everywhere, from what is obtainable in the general market. So that is when product in that regard, as per design, can receive special protection from law. So I think that sums up my little piece for this week.
Thank you very much, Divine. Beautiful presentation. Sorry for the interruption.
Okay.
Thank you for presenting on trade dress. And I'm really interested to hear what the other mentors would have to say for trade dress. So I'll be looking forward to their comment on your topic.
Okay.
Please, I would also like to acknowledge that Mr. Ayokunle is here. He is with Amalukanoye Bode, and we are happy to have him here. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We'll be
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We'll be moving straight to Tom. Tom, if you are here, please unmute yourself and present. You have 5 minutes. Tom is sharing his screen. Amazing. Thank you.
Okay, ma. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I'm presenting on geographical indications and its importance in Nigeria. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So all about geographical indications has to do with words or signs that identify that the product is from a particular country or a particular place. So it indicates, it tells us the source of where a particular product is made. So with that, the whole world or a particular region gets to reckon, or the end users get to know that, okay, this goods is made in this particular place. So at that point, if that happens, we tend to see that the source producers get relevant and are given global recognition, actually. So particularly now in Nigeria, we do not have any law that specifically mentions geographical indications, though, as a term. And so examples of geographical indications, like I stated here, we can have the argan oil from Morocco. Of course, we know about champagne. Champagne is from France. So a country cannot just wake up there. Some other country cannot just wake up there and say they are producing champagne. Champagne has been protected by France. So there is already a brand for it. So everybody knows that champagne is from France. So in Nigeria, we can say, example, we have Ijebu Gari from Nigeria. We can also say we have Ofada rice from Nigeria too. So when we have all of these goods, all of these commodities protected, there are some importance, there are some economic importance we get, and that's what I seek to discuss here. So one of the first importance of geographical indication is that it affords for, it fosters local research. we see that when these commodities are given relevance, where the source product, like Nigeria, for instance, is known for this particular product, we tend to, that alone tends to encourage that the producers go for innovative and further research to do more. Number two, we also have that geographical indications provides revenue and it generates wealth in the rural areas. We cannot deny the fact that most of the commodities or food products we eat now are produced. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we cannot deny the fact that most of the goods we eat now, particularly in Nigeria, are made from the rural areas. Most are made from the villages. So with these goods protected and the world out there knowing that, oh, we have this particular goods, Ijebu Gari is made in so states in this country, we tend to generate wealth for the local people. So number three is that each Nigerian product gets a global recognition. Yeah, I've mentioned that already. It's thereby creating a name for the Nigerian economic in the global economic terrain. I mentioned that already. Now, meanwhile, hello.
Please continue your presentation. If you know that you are not presenting, please try to mute yourself. Continue.
Okay, so number four, we can also say that GIs would give us an advantage over other nations, because if we are reckoned for, or everybody knows Nigeria for a particular product, and these products are protected from other persons producing the same or of the same quality. We are not saying that for Ijebu Gari, another country cannot just wake up and produce, but that the taste or the quality of the Gari would be protected, would be trademarked in such a way that no country wakes up one day and then they produce. So if GIs afford such protection, then Nigeria would be at the advantage. And then also finally, with all of this, definitely the gross domestic product in Nigeria would be on the top side. So that's basically all for geographical indication. And then also I would love to stress the fact that for now, there is little or no knowledge on this aspect of intellectual property law. Even for myself, I got to know about it some 2 weeks ago. That's why I did this.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you for the intelligent presentation. Thank you for the topic that you chose, geographical indication. I think it's a very good topic, and it's good that we discuss about it since we're the future of tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm also expectant to hear what the mentors have to say about this, but it's good to know that China has started producing Gari, and we don't know if it's Ijebu Gari that they are producing. So we'll move to Humomot.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is, yes, Humomot. My name is Humomot, a student of the University. I can't share my screen right now, but I'll be talking on the aspect image rights. An image includes a physical likeness or representation of a person, animal or thing, photographed, painted, sculptured, or otherwise. While image rights refers to the control over an image by the personality whose image is portrayed or by the image's creator. Image rights are the expression of a personality in the public domain. Image rights concern the various rights an individual holds in his own persona, such as their name, photos, likeness, signature, personal brand, slogans, or logos. Other rights that an individual can possess is appearance or facial expression. Image rights cover different perspectives beyond what is seen to a layman. For example, famous persons such as the singers, actors, models, athletes, footballers, they have developed valuable personality because these celebrities are famous. They can exploit the value reposed in their personalities by lending their faces to a brand. However, image rights is popular among celebrities, but image rights is available to everyone. Some states have specific clause on image rights. There's not really a comprehensive law providing for image rights in Nigeria. This implies that an individual may not be able to commercialize his image right or may not be entitled to compensation if these rights are breached. In Nigeria, image rights is mostly connected to the right to privacy in the Constitution, which provides that the right of privacy of citizens is guaranteed and protected and can be used. A person may therefore sue for breach of the constitutional right to privacy if he can persuade the courts that the constitutional right to privacy as a right to his image has been breached. So that's the basic aspect of image rights as connected to intellectual property. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Temitope. I enjoyed it because it's something that people go through daily without even knowing about it. Thank you. Let's move to Opeoluwa. Opeoluwa, are you here? You were here the last time I checked. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm here. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
So I'll be talking on copyright. So the aspect is copyright. Copyright is basically unregistered protection for creators. So creators like literary works, artistic works, dramatic works, musical works, music production and things like that. So generally, the general rule is that the person that owns the copyright, the creator of the copyright is the owner of the copyright. That's general rule. That's how it works. And that right is for the owner for the lifetime of that person and 70 years after. So now the thing about copyright is that you can sell the rights of whatever you own as the owner of the copyright, as the owner of the product. Like now, if you are the owner of a musical work, if you're the owner of a song, you can sell it. Artists do that a lot. That's when people write songs for people and then they sell the copyright of the song to another artist to use the song. So in that instance, you can transfer the ownership of that copyright to another person. You can do the same thing for dramatic works. You can do the same thing for literary works or even artistic works such as paintings and visuals and drawings. You can sell the rights. Rights can be bought, rights can be transferred, generational thing like that. So copyright is everywhere in the in art sector. Is everywhere because it's quite something that a lot of people don't even know that they are breaching somebody's right, somebody's copyright. A lot of people don't know that they're doing that. But then the law in charge of copyright in Nigeria is the Copyright Act of 1976, and it basically protects the copyright of works. The benefit of having copyright protection is that it enables the owner of the work, the creator of the work, to have the right to it, the sole right to it. And having the sole right to the work gives the owner economic rewards for their efforts, and then to encourage other people to also own their own works, as they can receive rewards, economic rewards, that's monetary rewards for their work. So copyright is quite common everywhere we see it, and it's always advisable to have copyright for every work that everybody creates. And then copyright, when you see something that has been marked copyright, you would see a C sign in a circle around it. So when we check on the internet or we're browsing for something or we're looking at a book or a work and we see that C in circle, that's a copyright sign. So we know that that work has been registered as you work for that particular person, as the owner of that person. So that's how you know when somebody has, registered their work to make it their own. So that's basically the major thing about copyrights that I would like to talk about.
Thank you very much, Opeoluwa. That's an intelligent presentation. Thank you. You touched assignments and leasing, I think, licensing of copyright and the mark and what C represents and all that. Thank you for a beautiful presentation. So Blessed is here, but I don't think Blessed submitted his reports. Blessed, please, can you unmute yourself?
Good evening, Ma.
Good evening. Did you submit your report for this week?
No.
Okay. Okay, it's fine. Do we have any other person here that has not? Good evening, Ma. You're welcome.
It's a roller coaster day, unbelievable. Sorry I'm late, so I will just listen in.
Okay, Ma. You're looking beautiful, by the way.
Thank you so much. So are you. Oh my God, thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you. So I'd also like to acknowledge that some of the previous mentees are here. We have Sewese, Daniel, and Christina. Thank you for joining us. If you are here and I've not called you to present, please just unmute yourself and present, because I'll be calling the mentors now to give their thoughts. So if I missed you, please just unmute yourself. Do we have anyone here that I've not called? Rita, Grace, Humomot, Busola, Divine, Tarari, Mubarak, Amaka, Blessing, Mogunkoya, Tom, Samuel, Nneka, Ayodele, Blessed, and Omotoye. Do I have anyone here that has not presented? Okay. So we'll move straight to the mentors commenting on the presentation. Let's call on Mrs. Chinasa from Banwa and Igadolo firm to comment on the presentations.
Much, Juliana.
Thank you, ma.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
By greeting my former boss. Once a boss, always a boss, I say. Yeah.
Gina, stop it. Welcome. Thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Yeah. Kunle, hello, Max, aunties, and other present. It's good to please, I take permission on my video. A very bad spot joining with my phone.
Okay,
and quickly, I noted a few thoughts, and I'll just run very quickly. Yes, I would say great presentation. It's interesting. Juliana before, and it's such a great opportunity. Had this kind of opportunity, really I didn't. So it's very good to see people who come together, who come to intern in the field of intellectual property to grow more, and are even actually setting themselves, preparing presentations about topics that some of them didn't about 2 weeks prior, like the guy that GI said. I want to just mention real is a specialized area of law. It's an area where you need to be careful. Choice of words you use. There are a lot of technical meaning attached to most words and most definitions. So when you be sure that what you're talking about is what you want, and I say that because even running through the, and I've seen some interchangeable use of words like patents and trademarks in the same saying, oh, when you want to patent or something like that. There are types of IP, and I know that with experience and with time, you would understand the differences. Okay, I just thought to point that out real quick. And there are different marks. There's patent, there's design, artificial secret, GI. Don't use them interchangeably. Every one of them, whilst a lot of are like intertwined, like in one product or in one solution, several types of IP rights occurring. So for mobile telephone, there'll be there'll be the trademark, that's the name, there'll be the copyright, the patent, working, and all of that. But these are individual rights, they're bundle of rights that have product. Let's not, up together. Then I wanted to say that the starting fee is exclusivity. Hold on to it and prevent unauthorized use of it. And because in listening to some of the definitions of IP, I heard people define IP as something, for instance, because I didn't catch, exact words that were used. Maybe copyright, is that right? That right of your patent, is that right? That prevents use, sorry. And trademark, is that in that prevents same definition you're given. But there are key things that distinguish IP, this is from can you still hear me?
Though it's okay. Cracking, but I can hear you.
I'm really sorry about that.
Okay.
I'll just try to run to patent. It's a couple of people talked about patent. I want to know that patents are by the government by the government new capital of industrial application. So it's not just a right that you have, it's a grant by the government for an invention that is new, useful, and so on. It's some right. So unlike a trademark, for instance, we can come up with a trademark which is a sign which one product or another commerce, right? You register your trademark, in which, or you may not even register your trademark from being your trademark, as long as that distinguishes your product in trade. Okay, so it's important. In relation to trademarks, someone talked about it being a sign used in commerce to indicate. Read one of the present things like sound mark and things like that, and it's good that you're able to identify that could be a trademark. But I wanted to Nigeria, under Nigerian law, as is, does not, marks, color marks, things like that. In summary, a trademark is just a sign, a name, a logo that distinguishes your product from another in the course of trade. So to give a practical example, if I walk into a slot, what is it that will make a Techno phone and not a Samsung phone? Maybe the logo that I see, or the shape of or something like that. That thing that's from another. And an example when I talk about trademarks is into a room and leaves the order, for instance. Is person room? People usually recognize that because of that smell the person has left behind. In the same way, perfume and sprays that perfume and walks into the room and leaves. She was here without her trademarks. Or sometimes trademark smile of hers or something like that's what you associate with her. So that's about trademark. The other thing I wanted to talk about trademark, difference between use and registration, is born out of reading some of the presentations that were submitted. I had mentioned it briefly before. You can use a trademark without registering it. It doesn't stop it from being your trademark. importance of registration is that registration grants you a sense that the fact that you register is prima facie evidence of ownership of that trademark, and you can present all of that trademark. But if you use, you may decide not to register it, or you don't, whatever. Particularly when you've done on that trademark, it doesn't stop it from being your own. Just that's something that maybe in future. And when I talk about all of that, I think next details. Then the last thing in relation to trademark, between trademark and trade dress, because I also said that somebody talked about that and it was sort of used interchangeably again. A trademark, like I said, is a sign indicates your source, the source of a product, in the course of trade. But a trade dress is everything. It's like the whole brand, okay? So it may be just a trademark. It could include much more than the trademark. So the product, the words, everything, whatever, package a product, the branding of a product is what your trade dress is. So a trade dress may be not necessarily a trade. Maybe you have Sprite. The Sprite, if you see that lemon and all written on that bottle, those are a particular company. But then if you look at the whole bottle, the green bottle label that is around the bottle and all of that, all of those things come together to form the trade dress of that Sprite. Okay? To note. Then I wanted to talk about geographical indications as well. You said the guy that presented said that GIs in Nigeria and so on and so on. I beg to disagree. No on GIs. But I know that there's a lot of momentum in that field because I'm even a part of some things that have been going on in the field of geographical indication. Like he explained, a geographical indication is just an indication of, where a geographical name or a geographical area, products that come from that area, and a product from that area. Then the simplest example you have is something like France, right? It's manufactured in that champagne known as it's entitled indication champagne. That you produce a product in Aba, in Lagos, and you call it champagne because it's not where it's not the. There are certain geographical characteristics, that pertain to those products, and there's distillation or administration that the wine would have to be called champagne, and because there's a certain kind of berry in the Champagne region, so you cannot say you berries in Lagos that were farmed in Aba or something like that, cultivated there, and you say that in Aba you're calling it so and so champagne. That's about geographical indication. I think he explained what it is. Nigeria, unfortunately, like you said, have so many things that China is doing. We even have a used in China. We have and of you know about this toothpick sticks that for to brush your teeth and all that. Wooden toothbrushes. I saw some that are being produced in America, places like that. A lot of our products are being produced because we're still at the point of development. There's nothing happening. There's try to protect geographical indications in it. Just suffice it to note that there are a lot of discussions. Hopefully, would and even under our trademark that we use to protect, and then the cost of on image rights. Okay, where someone talks about image rights of people and all, something that before you can talk about one, the person has to be a famous, recognizable person, either a celebrity or a something like that, and who has some commercial value attached to it. his celebrity status or famous of that. So the fact that I'm walking on the street and someone, for instance, takes my drugs or so, I cannot come and be claiming, oh, in my image right, because I'm just street, it's not there's no thing like that, or economic value, so to speak, that you say you're attaching to my name. But it's different when you're talking about, and I know that you mentioned the provision of the constitution about privacy rights and all that. Take my image, use my name, then you'll be talking about the field of privacy, all of that. So let's note that difference, okay? Finally, I was going to just economic rights of copyright. There are a couple of other things I want to talk about, but I think I'll stop here. It's important to note that you have rights. You have the moral right, which is the right to be mentioned, for your work to be acknowledged, and so on. It's making money from copyright. Thank you, Juliana.
Thank you very much, Ma, for touching almost everything and being very practical about it, because I know that it's different to read about something in a textbook and be confused a bit, but when someone in the practice actually comes to expatiate on it, it's always better. Thank you very much. Mr. Ayokunle was here, but he just stepped out. So hopefully if when he comes back, or if he comes back, I'll just call him to give his thoughts on it. So I'll call on Mrs. Uche to also give her thoughts on the presentations that she was able to listen to.
Well, thank you, Juliana, and thank you all that presented. I can tell you that I did not listen to any because I just joined. And I see that from the agenda you said, it was reports from mentees.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So since I did listen, and since, so when you said report from mentees, it was from the last quarter, right?
No, from this quarter. That's the new mentees that just started.
So when you say reports, they actually sent in their presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I didn't have a copy, but it's okay. I didn't have copies, but it's fine. So I think what I can do really is to take questions. Since I didn't listen and I don't know what the topics are, so for today, since I joined late and for the interest of time, if any one of them have, because Chinasa did fantastic work analyzing everything that was discussed. So if they have questions and ask, and then I can take their questions. Yeah.
Okay, Ma, sorry about the confusion. I actually attached their reports to the email, but I'm not sure why it did not get to you. But we also have Mr. Folarin here and Mr. Max. So maybe I'll just allow them to give their points.
Yeah,
then if any...
we take questions. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Okay, Ma, thank you very much.
Okay.
Mr. Folarin, please. We would love to hear from you too. Okay, Mr. Max. Let me check.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, Juliana, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
My apologies. So I'm stuck in Lagos. It's the whole place is flooded. It rained for maybe 6 hours or something on the Victoria Island. So I've been kind of stranded. I had to just look for somewhere to find some level of reasonable shelter to be able to speak.
Sorry for this.
Yes. Okay. Yes, because yeah. Good evening, and let me start first of all by acknowledging all the other mentors in the house. As I'll start first of all, of course, with Mrs. Uche first and foremost. It's always a pleasure to speak alongside her in this mentoring program because, like I say, even though I'm supposed to be a mentor, but by the time she's speaking, I become a mentee myself and I gain a lot. I acknowledge Chinasa.
Thank you.
Wana as well, of course, Mr. Fola Inaluko, Ayo Adetula, and then Juliana as well. Thank you for putting this together. And I just want to welcome all the mentees to this new session. It's a privilege to have the opportunity to connect with all of you. And it's always a delight to see people starting up on good footing in the IP industry. What I always say when I join the program is to always encourage the mentees that one of the things I find very interesting about this program is the fact that you are made to look at IP from a very practical standpoint, IP in industry, which I think is very important. So I would encourage you in picking your topics. Always ensure to pick topics that demonstrate IP in industries or in particular sectors and how IP plays out actually in businesses. So I know there are a lot of presentations. I won't talk on all of them because, of course, time is limited. So I'll just pick particularly trade dress. I listened to the presentation on trade dress and I thought I just want to highlight a few points about trade dress. Trade dress is becoming a very interesting area of IP law. It was not as interesting as it was before. I would say there was a time where it kind of took a dip, but lately with franchising, particularly for restaurants and quick service restaurants particularly, it has become a hot topic, in the US, and of course we expect that trend to very soon become also significantly, a significant trend in Nigeria as well. But one of the areas where it's so important is when you look at franchises. Now, when you walk into for instance, a KFC in Nigeria, there are things you look out for. There are the colors, the way the shops look, the kinds of furniture they use, the kind of cutlery they use, and all of that. So all those things put together, the way the employees are dressed, all of that put together is what makes up that KYC experience. So if someone decides not to take a KYC franchise, but sets up a quick service restaurant that has the same look and feel, the same furniture, the same cutlery, the staff are wearing almost the same colors, even though the name is different and all of that. Yeah, if you leave it at the level of traditional trademarks alone, you won't find an infringement because the man is not putting up a KYC anywhere, puts up another name and all. But overall, the feeling of the place gives you the same feeling you get in a KFC franchise. That would invariably be an infringement on the rights of the KYC brand as a whole. So when it comes to those areas, it's not exactly cut and dry because the man is not using your logo, it's not using your name, it's not using, maybe even if you're able to get a single color trademark, it's not using exactly your single color trademark, but it's the overall look and feel. So in the US, for instance, they have allowed people even take what as it were just a picture of the shop front, of how the shop looks. Sometimes even from the outside of the shop, maybe they have a particular kind of canopy they use on the shop and are able to register that as a trademark. But at least at minimums, even if you are not able to get trademark protection, passing off is always able to help with trade dress infringement. So trade dress is a whole lot of things put together, but essentially you are looking at how the overall the overall impression conveyed to to an end user with a particular outlet. Maybe sometimes not necessarily a restaurant, maybe even a retail store, for instance, also could be protected by trade dress. So it's quite an interesting area, and I would encourage you guys to read up more on it, look more at it. I believe very soon it's going to become an issue in Nigeria because we're having a lot of franchises operating in Nigeria. There's going to be a lot of backlash. Some people don't want to abide by the terms and conditions and pay the franchise fees, but they want to, enjoy the goodwill that comes with the franchise. So we expect to need to see litigation within this area. So I think with this, Juliana, I'll hand back over to you, and thank you. And of course, I look forward to interacting more with all the mentees. So thank you, Juliana, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Max. Thank you for the sacrifice. Thank you for always taking out time to be here. We appreciate you dearly. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Folarin is not here. I'll just say that one of the examples that you gave when you were describing the trade dress, you talked about a Coke bottle and all that. So I'd like to say that here, one of the ways that you can protect that is using an industrial design protection. So you can protect the shape of something using an industrial design protection. Then for the GI, there's a treaty, I think it's the Lisbon Treaty. Nigeria is not a signatory to it, but as Mrs. Chinasa said, there's a lot of talks going on for that. So, and WIPO is in Nigeria too. So I think they're also trying to see how Nigeria can be a signatory to the Lisbon Treaty. Then for the image rights, I think people are getting conscious about it too. So there was something about a footballer 2 months ago that his pictures was put on a billboard by DSTV, and he came on social media talking about it and everything. And about last month, DSTV signed him up and endorsed him. So I think it's something that people are getting aware of and are looking into. Thank you very much for coming, everyone. So we'll be going straight to the Q&A. I think we'll just take like three questions before we go. If you have a question, please just, you can unmute yourself and just ask your question. If I should wait for about a minute and there's no one talking, then would assume that everyone understands the topics that have been discussed fully. Does anyone have a question? We have Blessed, Blessing. Okay, so Christina is around. Some of the old mentees are around too. So if you are here and you also want to ask a question, it's fine. They have volunteered to be anchors, so they'll be anchoring subsequent mentorship sessions. So if anyone has a question, please unmute yourself and ask. Christina, Daniel, AK, Francis, Omotoye, Opeoluwa, Sewese. Okay, so I guess that no one has a question. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Mrs. Uche.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ayopele. Thank you, Mr. Folari. Thank you to all the anchors that have also come, and thank you to the mentees. Thank you for coming. Okay, Blessed. You can unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Good evening, ma.
Yes, good evening.
I'm a little about some geographical indication. I want to know a little bit for the nexus between IP and international law.
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Yes.
A little about geographical indication. A little bit the nexus between Hello, ma.
Sorry, I'm not getting your question. Can you quickly type?
Yeah, let him put it on the chat.
Okay, so please quickly type it so that we can see it. Thank you. Well, I think that just like the presenter said, something like Ijebu Gari, something that is unique to a particular environment, to a particular community, and then they going to protect it to make sure that it's unique to the environment, that there are qualities assigned to it, and that if anybody wants to, okay, so his question is here. After hearing on GI, I want a little more light shed on the nexus between IP and international law. The nexus between IP and international law. So we can have any of the mentors answer the question. Mrs. Uche, Mrs. Chinasa, Mr. Max.
Well, there are two different things. The fact that intellectual property is also all over the world, you know, it's jurisdictional. So in your country, you need to register. But international law, if I recall, it's either international law, you have the domestic law and I can't remember of my conflict of law. You know, that's where it is. So I don't think there's no connection unless if you're talking about like, okay, with the GI, it was the TRIPS agreement that provided for GI, and then intellectual property is your trademark. It's something that you developed. Then for GI, it has to do with an area. So in this case, who really owns the rights? Because the only issue there is not really ownership, but quality. Are you saying it's Gary, it's Ijebu Gary? Or did they buy it from Ijebu and come to Lagos and the mix it with other Gary and all that? So, but to your question, if I understand your question, there's really no nexus between international law is what we studied in the university as a different thing. There's conflict of laws, domestic law and all that. But intellectual property is really creation of the mind. It is you, it is what you developed and you own it personally or a company.
Thank you very much, Ma. Do we have any other person that would like to comment on this? Mr. Marks or Mrs. Chinasa? Okay. Well, I think.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can
Yeah,
hear
okay,
you.
so I want to just add to that, yeah, this, I mean, so I want to just say international law, of course, covers a huge range of things. There's international law covers, criminal law. So if you're talking, for instance, about the law on genocide and all of that, international law also covers commercial law. You're talking about things like the UN Convention on sale of goods and all of that. So in the same vein also, there's an aspect of international law that touches on intellectual property. And why that is because IP law runs along with trade and commerce has become global. So, so because of that, nations of the world have found out that it is useful to actually provide as much as possible the uniform system of intellectual property law across different nations, because you don't want someone crossing the borders, and then being able to violate IP rights without any consequences. So, I mean, as long ago as 1863, the Paris Convention, was put in place, which is also a piece of international law, the Berne Convention, and all of that. So there's certainly a link between IP law and international law from the viewpoint of saying there are lots of international treaties governing IP law because countries want to harmonize as much as possible IP law issues across their countries because businesses also trade across borders. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Max.
If I just say something real quick as well. In relation to IP in the field of private international law, to a large extent, rights, property rights, but property that are intellectual, so copyright of them, right? It's in the field of international law. Max said there's this thing about how law still having IP being international law in the sense that a lot of countries have IP policies, right? And they find that, like you said, trade is very important to the economy and all that. And IP has, is very, very important. You cannot underscore the importance of IP in trade, and the economy. So somehow, even in negotiations, you find out that countries are negotiating very serious, things among the one of the deciding factors. There are so many, and bilateral stand and fall on the intellectual property, and I mean I can't really make moments, because I need to dig up. But the point, intellectual property now becomes something that countries, even to wage war, because, and that's the beauty or importance of intellectual property. It's all encompassing, it's involved, it's in our everyday life, So when you're talking about issues, for instance, about gun violence and all, manufacturers of these guns would come up. You're talking about wars and all that. Who invents those ammunitions and things like that? when you're discussing agricultural development, technological advancement, you're talking about intellectual property as well. You see, for every economy, for every state, every nation state are important issues. The agricultural, technology, war, peace, and so on and so forth. So whilst it's in the field, IP is generally in the field of prior international law, somehow relevant to international law and decision making by states and relations of different states.
Julian, I think you're mute. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm not sure if Mrs. Chinasa is done, but I can see that she has muted herself. So maybe she's done with her comments to the question. One of the things that I feel that we did not touch was copyright and AI. And I think that you already did a very good presentations. And for those specialized parts, we will be hoping that a specific law come out for those particular areas. But for now, we have to get our authorities from different laws that currently exist. And for copyright and AI, well, as you said, the person that is behind the AI might own it, but you know that AI is growing to the point where they can take initiatives on their own. So if you get to that point, I think that question would have to be answered, which so hopefully would get to that point and will know how to answer that question. I would like to say a very big thank you to Mrs. Uche. Thank you so much for always being here and for always coming with your energy and with your wisdom and knowledge. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you, Mrs. Chinasa. She would be taking trade secrets and confidential information next week. And that's something that no one would want to miss, because that's something that small businesses, etc., are having with their businesses and their employees, etc. So please prepare here next week so that you can understand trade secrets and confidential information. Thank you, Mr. Max, for coming. Despite the rain, you still found out the time to come. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Folari, in absential. Thank you for always coming too. And thank you, Mr. Ayokunle. He had to leave for another meeting, but we are excited that he came and he listened. Thank you, everyone. We are going to be meeting here next week, Friday, by 4:30 p.m. Take care of yourself and have an amazing weekend. Bye.
You. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Ma. Bye.
Thank you so much, Ma. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.